All right, welcome to Princeton Financial Equity Group. Okay, today we're going to be talking about the Alpha Deal Analyzer. That's right. So all you got to do is go to princetonfinancial.com and then click on the Alpha Deal Analyzer if this is your first time. Once you're over here, you can actually go and look at what we're having as an offer, right? Well, what does the analyzer do? It gives you all these different areas of expertise in terms of unit mix optimizer. You can have a 10-minute deal screener, and we're going to get into all of that right now. I'm going to show you a lot of this in this quick 10-minute video. We may go a little bit longer, but we'll have separate videos that kind of go into each of these separate areas, okay? So all you got to do, first of all, is go down. If this is your first time, click on the free, get started. You're going to come to the login screen. Go ahead and create an account if you don't have one. If you do, you can also log in directly with your Google account and just click on Google and select your Gmail address that you have, and it'll get you logged in. Once you're logged in, this is your dashboard. This is where all your information is going to reside. You have all your deals on the left-hand side. Anything that you've archived goes away into the archive. After, I believe, 30 days, it'll disappear from your archive deals. You have a queue where all your analyzing is going to show up. When anytime you click on the analyze button, it'll start queuing them up for the analysis. Then you also have the napkin calculator. This right here is pretty interesting. Okay, so before you even analyze something in detail, you want to kind of just take a quick peek. Is it worth it? You know, you can go ahead and put down the purchase price, the down payment that you're going to have, the interest rate, and it'll automatically kind of give you a rough estimate as to what the NOI is, the cap rate it belongs to, the cash flow, and then typical cash on cash return and whatnot, and just kind of gives you like a rough idea. Okay. Then you also have the quick offer, which is this is the 10-minute quick offer. Right? And what basically, and we'll get into different videos and explaining to you exactly what this is, but it just kind of gives you, like, let's just say the income, or as, let's say, on a gross potential annual income, let's just say it was like 1.5 million. Okay. And your economic vacancy is about 10%. Your annual income after that is about 1.3. And a good typical expense ratio you want to try to sort of quickly identify is 50%, right? Once you have that, it'll kind of give you the NOI, rough, and then you can enter in the market cap rate, right? If you have a 6 cap rate, it'll tell you what the actual price of that you should go in as an alpha, right? And this is just a rough idea of what, because majority of the time what happens is the offering memorandum that you have, it doesn't come, and it will never tell you what they're actually asking for, what their guidance is, right? So you want to kind of get a rough idea before you do a deep analysis of that property, right? And before you even do that, so you know what you're looking at. And then on the bottom, you have like a rough sensitivity analysis. And what this basically says that if you don't get the cap rate correct, at least you have an idea. If it was a 7 cap, it'll be worth 9.6. If it was a 4 cap, it'll be worth 16 and 8. Right? It kind of gives you a rough idea of where this NOI is predicted to showcase this property at. Right? That's a quick rundown of that. Then you have the deal screener, and this goes a little bit more into the deal. Similar to the quick offer now, let's just say you're looking at it and you want to go ahead and put that information in, the number of units, what you're projecting to the capex is going to be, what your strategy is and whatnot. You can actually input all of that. And at this point, sometimes you may even have a rough idea about what your account stack is going to look like, as well as what you're looking at in terms of your mortgage and rent escalators and how you're projecting your expense ratios. And then that'll give you a rough idea of your cash flows, your loan amortization. It'll calculate all of that, right? And just going to give you a rough idea of what you're looking at. Then you have this document analyzer. Say you don't want to do a complete deal analyzer, and you just have some document that you want to analyze, you can just drop it in here and get it analyzed. Then you also have this cost segregation area. This cost segregation area basically allows you to just kind of get a rough idea of what you're looking at in terms of tax savings, right, when it comes to cost segregation studies. So that's what that is all about. And then you can refer a friend. You can create your own link. And once you have that link created, you can share this link to your friends, and you'll get credit for every time you share it to somebody. You'll have some credits. And once they join, you will get a credit. And they will also get credits. So that's a good opportunity. So now let's get into the deals. Right? Let's create your first deal. Let's just pick a deal. I'm just going to call it, for now, I'm just going to call it test. Right? Then I'm just going to call it 123 Main Street, for example. And I'm going to, for now, let's just find an example of let me go ahead and grab something that I recently downloaded from one of the brokers. So that if you're, the majority of the time, what you'll get from the broker is an OM, rent roll, as well as the T12, right? So when you square off with that, let's just, for example, take this as an example, and I'm going to pick this out, open this OM, and then let's just take a look at what the address is. And the key important aspect of when you're creating these deals is you want to make sure you have the correct zip code. And so a lot of this information is inside of this particular OM, and then in this case you'll see this is the address. Okay, so Tacoma, Washington, and I'm going to go ahead and quickly just copy that. And I'm just place it here. And the critical aspect is the zip code. You want to make sure that you get that at least correct. Once you have that, you're going to have this draft that's created. Okay, when you go into the draft deals, this is where you're going to actually see all the information about it. Right now, it's actually nothing there, right? Because we didn't upload any of that information yet. Okay, and the reason for the demographics is going to show up is because of the zip code. Okay, we already captured the zip code, so it already has that information. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to upload the T12. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click right here and go ahead and find the Legacy Ridge T12. So over here is the 212, so we're going to click on T12 and hit upload. Then we're going to drop in the OM. So we're going to go ahead and click that. And then click on the OM and just drop it right here. And upload it. And then you're going to take the rent roll and take the same information. So we're going to go ahead and take that rent roll and upload it. Okay. Once you've uploaded that, go ahead and activate the deal, meaning that you've uploaded all that stuff that you have. And then once it gets activated, what you want to do is you're going to go ahead and click on so you have turn analysis, right? So now when you go into your dashboard, it's going to show that, okay, it's still there. You have this over here. Then you can click on this Analyze button. All right? So now once you click on the Analyze button, it's going to say it's put in the queue, and you'll see the queue start showing up, and then it'll say that it's processing. All right? It's going to go ahead and start analyzing this particular deal. Okay? Now, you'll see that the price, if the OM had the purchase price or the sale price, it'll get populated over here, and then it'll calculate the cap rate and whatnot. But majority of the time, they'll find that that information is not there, right? So when you're going into the details, you can go ahead and actually enter the purchase price that you're going to actually have for it. It'll calculate some of the other numbers, right? And so you can see over here that it's still processing. It takes some time because AI's got to go ahead and churn all those documents that you uploaded. And then once it completes, it'll say that it's completed, or if it gives you an error for whatever reason, if it's not able to completely calculate or process the Excel spreadsheet that was uploaded. Sometimes the Excel spreadsheets have extra columns in the beginning. Well, you just may have to adjust and delete those records and then upload again. Right? This basically tells you your balance. You have information over here. You can add no credits. It'll give you some information on the bottom. about how you got all this information. And that's what we got here. Okay, so the queue looks like it's completed. Go ahead and click on View Results. And then what ends up happening is you're going to start seeing all the data gets populated. Okay. If you have the proper information in the financials, the T12, it'll get populated. The same thing with the analysis, right? It'll start breaking down the expenses, what the T12 showed in terms of expenses, general administration, marketing. And then you get the rent roll as well. Sometimes what you have to do is, if there was so much data, you can just refresh the screen. It'll populate down the data again, right? So it kind of went through the OM, right? Give you all the information about estimated price per unit, NOI. Kind of gives you the investment thesis over here. Gives you some of the property details, what kind of unit mix there are, and then it kind of breaks down some of the financial analysis. It gives you a little bit more details about the unit mix breakdown, rent comparables, right? There's a couple of units that may be nearby, what their average square feet is. Then, it has a lot more detailed information, right? Then what you can do is actually go ahead and click on financials, and there's a certain basic information that I'll give you, but it'll also give you some deep analysis if you go ahead and analyze that further. Then you have the basic analysis, right? What type of deal was this? What are the key strengths of it? What are the potential risks? Some market insights into Tacoma, Washington. What's going on over there? What are the T12 shows you? Expense breakdowns. What is the offering memorandum of details show? Look at the rent comparables from the different properties, nearby properties. What are their occupancy rates? The appreciation forecast. Then you can go to the next tab, which is the rent roll. You can analyze that as well, and then click on jobs data right here. While it analyzes, you can look at the jobs data. And the jobs data will give you what's nearby in the zip code. What type of jobs, what type of industry is there. The class of properties, the tenant-based analysis is there. You get the rent affordability gauge. There's a high burden, medium working earnings. What are they looking at? Their commute time. It gives you some of that information on how much of their commute time to their work, and kind of gives you a breakdown of that. Some additional, path to progress information. And then let's get into more of the crime data. You can click on Analyze the Crime Data. Gives you the crime information in this area, right? In this case, D-. It gives you some breakdown of why it's elevated. 6 months crime forecast. This got the crime breakdown, and also whether or not, what type of violent crimes there are. And then with the demographics, right? Population and the zip code, where the median household income look like. And then what we have, there's a lot more information. Look at the population breakdown over time, age distribution, what type of age related people are living in that area, the gender distribution. You got housing information over here. Some statistics on number of housing units, median rent, household over time, and then let's look at the income brackets. We're here, 21% median earnings, price to rent ratios there as well. And then, obviously you got the demographics, right? The population, gender distribution, population by group, marital status, school district magnet with kids, how many people have kids, investment highlights and insights about balanced family versus adult mix, race and ethnicity, education level of all the local tenant base. Then this right here, the multi-factor, the multi-family X-ray is pretty cool. Because once you click on this kind of is the bread and butter, right? You can look at the supply pipeline, right, in the past couple of years. What have you seen, right? How many permits came in the recent years? The summary, right, the 5-year summary. How many number of permits were issued? Then you got the churn rate, the tenant pool, Class A tenant pool, how much of the Class A is there? You got the quality score, the age distribution we saw earlier. So then this actually is related to the property, not the individual. Okay, so it'll tell you, you know, how many pre-1960 properties. There's 4,000 of them, almost 5,000 units. There's about, I would say, between 1960 and 1979, you have roughly 2,600 units. You know, anything later in that, you get 1,200 units from 2010 and beyond. Value add assessments kind of gives you that breakdown, right? Vacancy breakdown. The analysis on vacancy, rent burden distribution. Right? Look at all this information. Local household demand between one person, two person, right? How many 3-person bedroom? What's the demand looking like? You could actually change your unit mix type and see how that compares. Then over here, kind of the lifestyle within that zip code, right? The more people going to groceries, more people going to entertainment and movies. Are they dining out more? Are they working out? Are they healthier? What does it look like? And it looks like more people are just kind of in this dining grocery area, right? And a lot of, right, kind of gives you the picture. Broadband, how many people are working from home? Like, gives you an idea what's the reliability of working from home in this area. Renter versus owner split. Right? Heating fuel, right? Looking at electricity, gas, how much users or gas are there. Poverty level kind of gives you an idea, poverty rate. So this is pretty key data indicators, right? Kind of gives you an idea of that zip code. That's pretty much your deal over there, right? And when you get into the financials, you can actually see when you click on the deep dive, you'll get a good aggregation of all the information, right? Adjusted NOI, financial summaries, or cap rate sensitivity, right? All of that information is in here. And sometimes a lot of this may not get populated depending on what they provided in that document. Some of the AI analysis, again, some of this has already been discussed earlier, and gives you that idea. And then when you go back here, remember I told you that this price was not showing, so you can actually enter in to say maybe, you know, if it was 10 million purchase price, for example, right? And then it'll go ahead and, you know, type, this is 1 million, let's go 10 million. Right? Sometimes you may have to refresh the screen just to make sure you got all the data in. And if you're looking at multiple deals at the same time, this cap rate might get updated based on the NOI and whatnot. So you want to be mindful of, you know, all the data that's get uploaded in the files. And say, for example, you can click on the analyze up to 10 times per deal. So you should be good unless you want to do some of the deep dive. You also have this document analyzer where if you don't want to have, and you only have a few credits left, you can go ahead and just upload a document. And let's just say you wanted to pick another document, and let's just say you want to pick this one row. And go ahead and, you know, look at it, start analyzing it, and put it in the queue. So now you see that document was analyzed. Go ahead and click on it, and kind of gives you an analysis of this rent roll, right? It gives you a detail in what it found, right? Occupancy rate, data, some of this unit mix counts. What are they looking at? 3x3s or 1x1. There's a penthouse in this one. There was some insufficient data, so you couldn't get everything, but with operational improvements, implement a management software to calculate, check your loss to lease, value add potential, gives you some information on that, reduce the loss to lease, other income, the three units, they'll provide some indication on that there was okay, so this is pretty good, right? The provided sample indicates that these units are consistently being rented for 1900 while the market rent is 2000. So this immediately tells you that there's $100 improvement on the upside right there. Okay, so that's a pretty cool thing to look at. It's showing that it's strong occupancy, 8600 lost the lease, and it'll go into that. And so this is it. Then pretty much that's where it is. So this is a great tool for you as an investor in multifamily to utilize. I highly recommend you take a look at this and reach out to us if you have any questions. Princeton Financial Equity Group.